What's poppin', y'all? Welcome back to another YouTube video, and today we're taking a look at another movie review. And today we're taking a look at another movie which is on Netflix. I have been watching a lot of Netflix recently, and I feel like Netflix is one of the better subscription services right now. It can't be topped by Amazon Prime. Amazon Prime is still the GOAT and still on top. However, Netflix is still equivalent, but anyway, this video does not have a script, whereas yesterday's did, so definitely go and sort of tell me the difference. Which ones do you prefer, scripted or unscripted? Because I do daily sort of film reviews, anime reviews, and series reviews, and I do want your guys' feedback because I want to make these videos how you like it. So do you just like my sporadic thoughts on a movie, or do you like it to be layered, set out, and scripted so I know exactly what I'm saying? However, let's actually quickly skip over to Google, like we do in all my film reviews, and take a look at a little bit of like what this movie actually is about. So the movie we're taking a look at is called Focus, which did come out in 2015, 2016, the year of Suicide Squad, which had two familiar faces in. Also, Margaret Robbie and Will Smith, but this time they're in focus. A couple of pickpocketers. And this movie is 1 hour and 44 minutes, and it has a 56% on Rotten Tomatoes, a 4.4 out of 5 on Amazon, and a 6.6 out of 10 on IMDb. But Nicky, an accomplished con artist, gets romantically involved with his disciple, Jess, but soon ends their relationship years later. She returns as a feminine fatal to spoil his plans. So basically, this movie is split into two sections. So we have the first part of the movie, and then we have the time skip part of the movie, which is 3 years later. So the first part of the movie actually goes with Margaret Robbie sort of trying to steal from Will Smith, failing, and then Will Smith taking Margaret Robbie under his wing to teach her the trade. He introduces her to the group. They go and steal a load of stuff at this big sports festival, this big horse racing festival, by faking sleeping with people, by just stealing stuff, and using the art of deception to basically grab all their shit and sell it online to get the profit from it. However, he does one more heist with her, but keeping her in the dark, so then her performance is a little bit more organic and a little bit more believable, where he scams someone out of $10 million because he was in a betting game with them, and it is really clever and really smart how they do it, and they just go through the sort of whole thing. They do the heist, and then they explain the heist, and I really like that, and it is very similar to Now You See Me, I do believe, which is another magic heist type of movie, and it is just really smooth and really slick. However, we then have Will Smith leaving Margaret Robbie after building up a pretty decent relationship with her and just like leaving her high and dry. And because of that, we have a time skip of 3 years later where someone is hiring Will Smith to steal or to basically fakely sell this sort of computer system to them. And Margaret Robbie is there as this man's wife, and they've been sort of together for a while, and Will Smith is kind of hung up on her, so he spends like the entire movie trying to get her to know her and sort of get them together and have them all nice and kind and lovey-dovey, but Will Smith is trying to like win her back. He successfully wins her back, and then they get caught, they get captured because he waited too long for Margaret Robbie. And when they get captured, we find out the whole plot of the movie, which I'm not going to spoil for you, and that's going to be the sort of last bit of my recap of the movie. I'm not going to spoil that bit for you because I do want you to go watch this movie for yourself. However, the absolute smarts of this movie, the intelligence that this movie takes, is absolutely incredible. I love these sort of pickpocketing, these sort of thief movies, because it is so smart, and watching it is just so satisfying because they're so smooth with it. They're so slick with it. They're getting on, they're moving around, they're moving through people, distracting them, sort of sleight of hand, and it's all really cool and really interesting to watch. And seeing how they all did it in the end, when it's all revealed to us, is also really interesting as well. And I just like seeing how they sort of did it, how they worked it out, and then I also like trying to work it out for myself as stuff's going on. I like seeing, hey, what's the pattern here? What's going on? Am I missing anything? But the movie is really good at misdirecting you, because if you go back and watch it a second time, you can see these things happening at the explanation, and you can see it to show that obviously what you're seeing is not what you're actually seeing. Like, they're moving your focus to the front of the screen when you should be looking at the background to see what the other characters are up to basically understand, the whole sort of background. So the features are there for you to be seen, but you don't get it until the end because you're not paying that much attention to the background characters. So it is really fucking good and really smart, and there is a lot of detail here. The costume design is really good as well, and everyone loves Margot Robbie, and I've seen loads of edits about this movie on TikTok, and then when I obviously got to that moment in TikTok, I'm like, holy shit, that's from TikTok. And I know I have that thoughts with a lot of movies, but that is because, I'm a TikTok star. I cringe saying that. I'm not a TikTok star. I just make TikToks if you want to go check them out. There is a link in the description. I'm not that full of myself, don't worry. I just thought it'd be a little bit cool to say, but it wasn't. I cringed and I died inside, so I take that back. I just make TikToks, and if you want to go check them out, link in the description. But, you see everything on TikTok. You see a load of clips of movies, and sometimes you're not too interested in it, other times you are, but then when you watch a movie and you see it from TikTok and you're like, holy shit, I've seen this before, I recognize this, and this was one of those moments, this was one of those movies, and obviously the acting from Will Smith is incredible in this movie. He normally acts as himself, like in Suicide Squad and in a couple of other movies. He just plays himself, like a couple of other actors do, like Ryan Reynolds. He just plays this one set type of character in all his movies, and then we have other, like, sort of actors doing it as well, but unlike Jack Black, who makes every role his own, he makes every character his own and truly does them really well. So there is a slight difference in doing a character like yourself and making the character like yourself. There is two different things there, and I think Jack Black is the second one and Will Smith is the first one. However, in this movie, he doesn't do that. He actually plays this new sort of slick character pretty well and really smart, and this is like one of his best acting movies, I will be honest. I was watching this, and I know it's Will Smith, but this one I was looking at it and I'm like, oh, this isn't Will Smith playing Will Smith. This is like this character Nicky or Mallow, whatever you want to call him. And I really liked that. I thought that was really cool, and it was really nice to see. It was quite refreshing. But Margot Robbie is also an absolute incredible actor, and there was a little joke where they were sort of slagging off Aussie people, and she is Australian herself, so I thought that was quite funny. And I like it when they do, like, little jokes which can nod at the characters, and also the actors and actresses' wider sort of perspective. It's just cool and it's very interesting. But this was made in like 2015, 2016, which was year of the Suicide Squad. And I'm going to be honest, I thought this movie was pretty cool, but you can't beat Margot Robbie's performance in Suicide Squad. She was the best thing about it. And every time I look at her, I can't see anything other than Harley Quinn. And I feel like that's a bad side on my part, because then I can't, like, properly judge her work, or, like, I don't want to judge it in, like, a bad way, but, like, sort of give her credit for anything when I literally just see Harley Quinn every time. But she was really good in this movie, and she was so good. Her emotions were so good. She was crying, she was happy, she was like, her emotions were all, she conveyed all of them, and I didn't feel all the emotions watching this movie, but I was on the edge of my seat, and I was constantly thinking, and I was overthinking, because I was getting in my own head, trying to work out what this movie's secret was, and what they were sort of trying to keep from me to do the end twist. And I like trying to do that with movies. I never get them right, I'm going to be honest. I hardly ever get them right. I'm not that good at predicting things, but I like to give it my best shot. And I was trying to do it in this movie, and boy was I wrong, but it was still fun to try. And they did try and distract you with Margot Robbie quite a lot. I am going to be honest. There is a lot of corn, like borderline corn with Margot Robbie here. You don't see anything, which I'm so thankful for. And this is one of the movies which I respect, because they sort of imply that they did it. They imply that they had the segs, but they don't actually show it. And I am sick of seeing segs in Hollywood movies. And apparently it's gone down by 40% since, like, the 90s. However, I find that bullshit, because every movie that I've watched recently has had it in it. I've watched Poor Things, boom, segs. I've watched Champions, boom, sex. But this movie, it implied it, it didn't show it, and I was so thankful and I was so happy that they didn't waste precious time on these sex scenes. However, this movie, in my opinion, is a solid 9 out of 10. I thought it was really cool, really creative, had a really good cast of characters. A lot of them were funny. I was giggling, it did have me laughing, but I was mainly trying to focus up, so I feel like the laughing was a bit of a distraction. But this movie is really good. Definitely go watch it. It is on Netflix, and it's a one-off movie. It's a good movie night watch, and you've probably seen it on TikTok, so definitely go give it your time of day.